are rocking out with the best. This is your Michael Afani X, and we got the Empress, our co-host, doing the thing, the Empress Sharifa. Make sure you follow her as she takes and levels you up with care. So today we are giving an amazing webinar for our nonprofit, for Navigator Virtual Academy. This is part of our mission as we take people to the next level. People are having problems just solving other people's problems, and I'm finding they really just have to start with solving their own, because a lot of problems that we have in life, other people are having. And so as we level up with care, as we take you to the next level, sister and I, Sharifa, are going to give you examples, things that you can apply right now to get ROI from your business idea and get you more on that path of getting clear of what problem you're going to solve for the people. So talk to the people real quick, sister. Tell them what you do and how you can help them in other ways, and what are some of the things that you want them to focus on for this live.
Well, greetings, beautiful ones. I am the Empress Sharifa. I am, first of all, a mental health advocate and a life coach. And I think for this particular, I don't know, I'm going to follow your lead on this one. Let's just see where we're going. I think I'm gonna feed off of you. We're gonna play tennis today.
Come on, Serena. Call me
Yeah,
Venus. All right, so
but
let's
but mental health, that is my thing. That's near and dear to my heart. And those of you who have not seen me before, I've been in previous podcasts, and we've talked about mental health and how I've um, I've experienced, depression and having panic attacks, and how I tried to take my own life when I was a teenager. I was about 16 years old. So I do know what it's like to feel alone. I do know what it's like to be in those spaces of not feeling love, being humiliated. I was the one that was bullied my whole eighth grade year. Um, I got every morning when I would arrive to school, they would call me Bulldog. Every day, I had to go through this my whole eighth grade year. And I've been in certain situations, very uncomfortable situations, uh, dealing with molestation too, right? So I've been through a lot in my life, and so I know what it's like. I know what it feels like, and I'm here. And people, they say, talk about like harping on your past, and it's not about harping on your past. It's about healing from your past, right? And
Mhm.
then let the world know that you can do this too. I've been through what you've been through. Now I'm living in Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya, which I forgot to mention. So it's a beautiful day in Nairobi, Kenya today.
Nairobi.
It's like 2:30
Sasa.
here. Yeah, boy. Yeah, so it's a beautiful day in Kenya. It's like 72 degrees, perfect weather today. And I'm here. I'm here and I'm happy and I feel loved. I'm in a beautiful space right now. But yeah, so I just want to just put that out there that I do know, I do understand, I do empathize, and I've been through, even as a full grown woman, honey. There's still some things that I needed to learn about self love, right, and self care. And I'm not afraid to admit that. I'm very open and honest when it comes to that. So back to you, my co-host and the
Happy
main host,
cooking. Amen.
Mike.
Amen. 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 That's a wonderful sister Nakupenda talking that truth right there. You took it to the next level, and your transparency and honesty is why you're on here as co-host, also taking things to the next level as we sell and teach the people the value of getting the ROI on their life, their investment, because entrepreneurship, lovepreneurship is a spiritual journey, right? It is a spiritual journey for you to take that walk, right? To be unafraid, right? To get out there and solve a problem that your world needs. It's very easy just to go along with the go along, but you recognize that you have something that the world needs, that is driving you to even be on this live, right? To ask questions and see, what is it that I can do with my time? So let's talk about it. So today, not someday, right? Let's start there. The urgency of now. So if you're looking towards a digitally prosperous future, and I'm going to read fast, y'all. So let's get into it. And this is how I think. So I just want to show y'all. You must start measuring success by ROI, return on investments, on every effort you undertake. It's not just about money. It's about time, energy, and focus, right? Ask for yourself, right? For every hour or dollar I put in, what do I get back, right? Adopting an ROI mindset, right, means taking action today, not someday, and focusing on what brings result. Procrastination and fear be gone. Many people delay launching, right, like that email campaign or writing that grant proposal due to fear of failure, right? Fear of failure, or surprisingly, fear of success. That yield data, right? So you got to get data. So, sister, talk to the people about ways that they can get more data in their life, right? So we're talking about email campaigns, right? Or even writing that grant proposal due to fear. What are some ways that you've seen in the past, or that you maybe could get some more data, or some ways that you've been able to collect data for your business or through the internet, or to talk to the people about some strategies that you've employed?
Well, I've been able to receive data. Like I've actually reached out to clients, just because me, like I don't want to say old fashioned, but I believe in the communication. As far as I know, we have technical, we have emails and all that, but I want one on one. I want to see your face. I want to see your expression. I want to see those beautiful teeth, right, Michael? I want to see you laugh. I want to see how you feel. I want to see you, right? So for me to get that data, and to get the real, because I'm good with energy too. I can feel energy. I can know when you're dealing with something. I can know, when you're not being honest, right? Just because I don't say anything, like the old say, just because I don't say anything doesn't mean that I don't know, right? That you're not being honest. So I'm still in that, doing video calls like this, Zoom calls or whatever, getting the data that way, and actually, talking to my clients and telling them, like, I ask for feedback. Write it. You okay? Send it in an email if you like. Send it through my WhatsApp. It's just send. I need feedback. Let me know how you felt about my services. And what the benefit was and how it's benefited you, and really be honest. Let me know if you would recommend me to other people. So yeah, that's how I believe in getting that data, getting real feedback, real honest feedback, and letting me really know, how you really feel. If I need room for improvement, or what I need to change, then I will take that into consideration, because I want to make sure that my business is growing, and that it's real. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
That
Amen. Amen. And what our sister just described, y'all, and make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, man, because your sister just dropped gems. I hope y'all are just catching them, right? She just separated the difference between quantitative data and qualitative data, right? So qualitative data, the what you can feel, the way, the expressions, things that may not be driven off the numbers. Too often we're considered about numbers, but we have to think data in a widespread. So that was a great add on there, great value add, and that was a great way to envision things. So let's continue to build. So there is no failure, only feedback, to your point of what you just said. For example, if you
mm,
send an email to 100 potential supporters and five respond with donations, that's a 5% conversion. So, right, 100 potential supporters and only five respond, that's 5% conversion, right? Nine respond, that's 9%. A result you can learn from and improve, right? If you never send it, you get 0%, right? So nothing. Which outcome serves you better, right? So plan for the strong, not the weak, because these words we use are powerful. So we have to be able to really be wiser about the way that we describe these words, right? So this is where the poetic meets the practical. Plan for the strong, not the weak, means envisioning success, not failure. Too often people plan their projects timidly, assuming scarce resources or anticipating defeat, right? Instead of planning as if you expect, right? As if you expect strength. Assume you will find your audience. Assume your grant will win, and plan how you'll deliver impact when that happens. By preparing for success, you naturally start maximizing ROI. Every step is oriented to a strong outcome. For instance, if you're crafting an online course to sell via email, right? Don't downplay it as maybe just a small side gig, right? Treat it like a bestseller in the making, right? Put in the research, polish, and market upfront. This way, each effort yields stronger returns because it's built for success. A real world example, when master teacher Dr. Malachi Z. York, right? Moved his Nuwapian Nubian community from Bushwick Avenue, New York to Eatonton, Georgia, and renamed it into Tamaray, the Egypt of the West. Or when Elon Musk set out with Tesla, he didn't hope to make a modest EV company. He wrote a master plan aiming for industry domination, right? Step one was a pricey sports car. Step two, an affordable car. Step three, an even cheaper car, and so on. By planning for a stronger future, in the example of Tesla, Tesla focused its resources on a path that would yield exponential ROI. And indeed, Tesla repaid its $465 million government loan early with interest, a testament to executing on bold plans, overcoming fear of failure and success, right? An ROI driven today, not someday approach forces you to confront fears head on, right? So fear, failure fades when you view each attempt as data. If something flops, you've learned what it doesn't work and can pivot. Thomas Edison or Nikola Tesla, speaking of Tesla, we bring that back, right? Because there's a reason why this Tesla name is even popular, because there was an individual unafraid to bring their inventions. So whatever you are going out there, right? So if you're unafraid to bring your inventions, think about if Nikola Tesla didn't share much of his inventions, even a lot of them stolen, right? It's to say we have to learn from the past and protect ourselves with our intellectual property, as well as also create those products that could take our people to the next level, right? So famously, he said, or at least Thomas Edison said, he didn't fail it 10,000 times. He discovered 10,000 ways that it didn't work. So what is it that you have to fail or gain data points 10,000 times before it finally works for you, right? So on the flip side, fear of success, right? Fear of success that you might actually get that huge grant or 100,000 email subscribers and then feel overwhelmed. It unconquered by our principle, we do procepts, not concepts, right? So in action, it means you don't just dream of big outcomes, you prepare for them, right? So proactive concepts in motion. If you land that big win, you'll handle it because you've been planning for that strong outcome all along. So think of Tabitha Brown, who early in her career visualized herself not just a local TV host or Sister Empress Sharifa, right? As you envision yourself to be that next local TV host or media host on your level, right? And so talk to the people about some of those visions that you have and that are making you even just step out into that lovepreneurship journey, if you don't mind me asking.
Well, okay, so a few years ago, I had this vision. I hadn't, and I hadn't really shared this much. So this is going to be different. So I had a vision of me. I'm like I have on all white, coming down these steps, right? These like those winding stairs, right? And then I'm coming down these steps, and I wound up on stage, and um, I'm being rewarded. I'm not sure what I'm being rewarded for or being honored for. And then I see my husband is on the he's on the front row because and I remember I have this vision like I see him like do you want to come backstage? He's like no, I want to sit in the audience because I want to see and
Yeah, it's a
visual right in my mind. So I'm on stage and I'm very thankful and I'm crying and I'm like, I want to thank my husband. I have this whole speech, how supportive he is and he stands up and he waves. Like I've had this whole visual of this, but I was being rewarded and being honored for something great that I had done. Not sure what I had done. I saw this. And so um I believe this vision and I've been holding on to it. I believe that this is my steps are being ordered, right?
mm,
Um, for that vision to play out because I can't let it go, right? And I had no idea that I was going to be in Africa. That so I believe that for me, belief for me, knowing and believing for me are two different things. For me to know something, that's a stronger energy for me. That's how I feel. Because I can say I believe in you, but I know you're going to be successful. It's different than I believe you're going to be successful. No, I know. You know what I'm saying? So I know that's a part of this vision that I have. That won't let go of me, and I won't let go of it. Right. So did that
amen. Now that was
so?
perfect. That was hey, let the honor begin. I definitely it starts with you sharing the vision because that's a testament to your Most High, letting it known that you received it. You also are expressing it because once I said that, that was what first came to mind. And so that's reflective of just what's still on your heart, and also the
Yeah.
way of your higher self reminding you of the promises that it's made to you, right? And to test yourself to hold on to that and not just wait on that, but to bring it into fruition, right? I think that's the best way to predict the future, is to create it, right? So that's what we're talking about. And I love that you just did that perfect segue, because that was a beautiful vision. Because literally the next word is that vision. No cap. Planning for success. I'm not. I swear to you, I'm not even. This is spiritual, bro. That vision, planning for success, propelled her to make decisions that led to a high ROI career moves. Each show, each business venture is building her empire. You too must treat your time and opportunities as precious investments. Each social media post, each marketing email, each grant application is a seed. Water them with effort now so they can bear fruit tomorrow. Right? ROI is more than money, it's a mission. In the context of your digitally rich grant writing future, think of ROI as achieving your missions effectively. Winning a 50,000 grant is great, but what's the ROI for the community that you serve? Perhaps that grant allows you to train 100 youths in coding skills. The social ROI is lives changed. Similarly, an email marketing campaign, right? My ROI in dollars, but also in loyal customers and brand ambassadors, right? The point is, define what return matters to you most, right? Profits, yes, but also impact, growth, or learning, right? And relentlessly pursue it. When you adopt this mindset, right? When you adopt this mindset, you naturally filter out low value activities, endless meetings, or vanity metrics, and zero in on what moves that needle, right? Because you got to get that dollar to make sure that you manage that capital to take it to the next level. This is what you then invest with that dollar that takes you higher. So in practice, to maximize ROI, you will set clear goals. Know what outcome you seek: 100 new email subscribers this month, or 3 grant applications submitted this quarter. Measure your results, right? Track key metrics, right? So if email open rates are 20% and your goal was 30%, analyze and adjust. Maybe tweak subject lines or send times. If one grant application failed, seek feedback on why, right? So iterate quickly. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Send that proposal draft to a mentor now for feedback. Like, share, subscribe if what I'm saying is making sense, y'all. Because this, you got to launch that idea. You got to launch that vision, man. No one is gonna do this but y'all. And if you're unafraid to do it, then it's not gonna work out the way that you expect it to, right? You got to create a future that you love, and you got to be lovepreneurship. So launch a small Facebook ad campaign for free or for paid to test interest, right? Use small tests to gather ROI data and scale up what works, right? Celebrate and then learn. When things go well, celebrate that ROI. If you ran a fundraiser via text and raised $5,000 note, that what works. Time and message so you can repeat it. If something didn't work, treat it as a stepping stone and not a stop sign. So adopting an ROI mindset lights a fire over you or underneath you, right? It creates urgency today, not tomorrow, and clarity focused on what yields result. It's psychologically empowering, right? You move from a passive, I hope this works out, to an active, right? I'm making this work and measuring how it's going to, how well it's going to. No more drifting through days, right? You'll be purpose driven, constantly evaluating where to invest your precious time and resources for maximum return. This approach, when applied, becomes habit, and that habit will be a cornerstone of your digital success. So is that making sense there, sister? Tell me which part is making sense. Tell me which part might be hard that you can foresee for somebody who is maybe afraid to begin their lovepreneurship journey, and maybe some questions they might have that we might have to answer for them for them to begin that particular ROI journey.
I think that just it goes back to, this isn't one of the lessons in the what's the right the one of the modules, right, that you are this in the curriculum, is talking about the mindset, right? I mean, you can have the best plan, you can have the best bloop, you can have all of that, everything written down, organized, but your mindset is that's what's going to make you, allow you to put yourself out there, right? That's so important. You can have all of this and that. You got the laptops, the phones, you have all of the emails, your system set up, but your mind, your esteem, right? I'm always going back to that because we talk about love, entrepreneurship, and love. That's the first word. That's love, and so that's loving yourself is very important, even in this learning, the system that you have set up. Um, it's about loving yourself, and it's about um, you know having boundaries with other people, because when you're doing this type of thing, when you're leveling up with care, right? And when you're in this program, people are not going to have the vision, right? They're not going to see or understand why you're doing what you're doing. So you have to have a strong sense of self, and a strong sense of purpose, right? To be able to even have that mind for success, right? Or to even get over that fear, because what is the courage? It's doing it while being afraid, right? So again, it just goes back to what we mentioned in previous videos, and again in the curriculum, is the mindset, which I do appreciate that, because you give our people, um, clients, something to think about. This is not just about the black and white and the making money, which we all need to make some money. We got bills to pay. You know what I'm saying? But it stems back to your mental health, right? Your mind state, how you feel about yourself, right? So yeah.
You hit it on the head right there, sister. And I love how you connected it, because a lot of what we have to do is just what we know, right? How you are always thinking about it from that level up with care perspective, right? And so I love how you brought it back to self-esteem, because that is what we have to nurture, right? If your mindset isn't right, right, your money set won't be right either, right? You can't be able to take care of your business and you can't take care of your mind, because how you do anything is how you do everything. And so we have to be in tune with that, look at how we do everything, and then try to be able to correct that in real time, right? Because these are the things that'll take us to the next level. Because it's progress, not Congress, right? We got to turn these cons into pros. If they really wanted to take us forward, why would they not call themselves progress? But nah, they call themselves Congress, and we have to pay more attention. In Washington, Congress can debate endlessly and get nothing done. In your life, you want progress, not a personal Congress. You see, this means no more committee of one in your head, postponing decisions or bogging you down in over analysis. You see, if a course of action feels right and has a good potential ROI, take action, you dig. Adjust if needed, but keeps moving. Momentum itself adds to ROI. An object in motion stays in motion. Opportunities tend to open up once you're engaged, right? So you got to get engaged, right? For example, once you start emailing your customers regularly with good content, you might discover they're also interested in a workshop you could offer, a new ROI stream. So shout out to that nonprofit virtual Navigator summit coming up, right? Make sure that you get into that nonprofit Navigator virtual summit coming up. It's on May 2nd. Going to take it to the next level, right? So we're going to do that. So for example, once you start emailing your customers regularly with good content or pro-tent, because we're changing these cons, you might discover you're also interested in a workshop you could offer, a new ROI stream, but you never see that unless you start progressing, right? So to summarize this opening chapter, your digital rich future needs you to think like an investor and act like an entrepreneur. Invest your time where it counts, act decisively, and measure the returns. Be impatient with inaction, but patient with results, right? Not every seed sprouts overnight, but if you tend to the right garden, growth is inevitable. From here on, we'll delve into the specific gardens to tend to, right? So it'll be email, SMS, social media, grants, right? And how to get a bountiful harvest from each. So keep the ROI mindset as we continue. It'll be the thread stitching all advice together, ensuring that everything you do is geared towards tangible, meaningful progress. Is that making sense? Just tell me if that's making sense.
Hmm.
Excellent. So let's keep continue to cook. So we probably got about 3 more minutes or 7 more minutes on the clock. We're probably gonna hit a 30 on them. And so ROI is the language of the digital grants ecosystem, right? In this age of information and automation, funders are using AI scoring systems that prioritize keyword density and metrics, blockchain monitoring tools to track grant dollars in real time, outcome-based disbursement clauses that reduce payments, right? Public transparency requirements that mandate public-facing dashboards and accessible data. So translation, because that was a lot. Your grant proposals must speak both human and machine language. You must provide logic models and compelling stories, right? Match your budget to over outcomes and include cost per beneficiary metrics. Integrate both qualitative, I told you, impact and quantitative proof, right? So this is the digital grant writing world we're in. You can either complain about it or conquer it. Grants can be game changers or funding your mission or business, but success becomes long before you write that proposal. You dig? Y'all are going to be successful because you all are here. So like, share, and subscribe. Share this to somebody else who has that digital rich idea that needs to be funded as they're navigated through their nonprofit journey, right? So this is the digital rich grant journey we're living in. So it starts with grant research, right? So the process of finding and selecting the right grant opportunities to pursue. So I'm going to give y'all some nuggets to leave on, right? So this chapter lays out a structured system for grant scouting that will save you time, right, and boost your win rate. So instead of scattershot approach applying to anything and everything, which can waste efforts on poor fits, you learn to methodically identify grants where you have strong success and aligning with our PROCEPT, plan for the strong. Now, plan for the strong, right? Every week or every weekday, right? Instead of a strong day, setting up your grant research or search system, right? So begin by treating grant research as an ongoing process, not a one-time event. Create a dedicated space, spreadsheet, database, or grant management software to log and track opportunities, right? Key elements to record for each grant. Name of the funder, name of the grant program, URL or source deadline, amount change, funding focus or keywords, geographic focus, eligibility criteria, and any notes like required documents, past contacts, or fit assessment. This becomes your grants pipeline. Much like a sales pipeline in your business, it visualizes prospects at various stages, right? To research, likely to apply, and progress, submitted pending decisions, right? So using a simple spreadsheet or tool like Airtable or Trello can work wonders, right? So I'm giving y'all the game, man. So y'all can, these are things you can make money, right? You see how, because we this really works for us. Somebody gave it to us, so we got to give this to y'all. And you know that's how the master teacher taught us to do it. We got to do this for the nations. For example, have columns or fields, right? Grant name, funders, community innovation grants, XYZ, focus areas, right? Youth education or tech, for example, amounts up to 25,000. For example, Lifeline, March 5th, 2026, because we don't do dead things. Status, right? Not started, drafting, submitted, awards declined. For example, status, likelihood or priority. Maybe use a 1 to 5 score or high, medium, low system, right? Or a strong or fit that you believe it is based on alignment and competitiveness, right? So notes, requires a 501c3, need partnership with fiscal sponsorship. So explain to them things that you need. Have a section that can explain more information. Contact at Foundation Jane Doe, met at conference, or apply after a pilot program data ready, right? So we're talking about you organizing yourself. You got to have organizations. Right now we're separate, right? But we have to put these organs together into a body, into a work, right? So work that you're doing, a product that you're packaging, a service that you're serving the people with, that ultimately will allow you to write better grants because you now have data. That's what so that's basically what we've all just broke down. I just broke it all just down right there, right? Because you're being able to track your data, whether quantitative or qualitative. So maintaining this database ensures nothing slips through the cracks and helps prioritize. So it becomes historical data. If you applied and didn't get one, maybe you've learned via feedback or you observed the winners and had certain characteristics. That intel or information can outform you whether to try again or adjust your approach, right? So I know that was a lot, sister. I know I definitely ran that part off. That was, so tell me which part made sense. Tell me which part maybe didn't make as much sense, and which question you think the people might have and that I should answer for them real quick with our remaining time.
Oh gosh, you did. You went really fast. I was trying to figure out. I was trying to pull something. So what I'm going to ask you to do, I'm going to put the question back onto you. Out of what you just went on, just pull like quickly two of the most important things that you feel that we need to know.
Excellent. I appreciate that. I appreciate the flip. I always answer questions with questions. So what I would say here is the part where we talked about starting with that grant research, right? Because it all starts with the information, or better said, creating up that system, right? So if you don't have a system and organizing yourself or the way places you're placing the data, then you're already behind the 8 ball. So that's where we kind of provided the column names, the grant name, focus areas, what's the amount, the lifelines. You got to track the work you're doing, right? And so from there, once you have your grant search system in place, the second thing I would say that's most important is actually taking action on the information. And so actually having a either a AI scoring system or a blockchain monitoring email application that can then take action upon either applying for those emails or sending out the information for you to get. Because again, we're talking about grants. So one form of grant is you using your database to get the grants as far as applications or through different sponsorship letters that you send out. And so through the emails, right, through the product and service, the problem that you're solving for the people. That's another way. So those are the two ways, right? So you can also send out your direct, get it directly from the people based on what you're solving the problem for. So that's for us to first think about what product or service we're packaging into for the people. So those would be the two things I would say. So first, making sure that you have a system, because before you reach out to the people, you want to first organize yourself, right? So that's why I said that first. You want to be able to organize yourself, know what data you're utilizing. You want to first get the applications together because those will take longer. Those have different lifelines, different documents that you need to bring together. So that might take a little bit longer. But your product and service, you should already have, or at least been thought about what problem or what area, what industry. And this is so wide, right? Because now we're just talking about different areas. For us, for example, we have a food bank. Freedom of Faith Food Bank is our particular 501c3. So we're able to help people directly through actually serving as a fiscal sponsor for other food banks, or directly us putting on food bank programs. So that's a niche area for us, but it's for you to think about what your niche area needs to be. So for us, I know our sister does Level Up with Care. That's your niche area where you're focused on the mental wellness, the self-esteem of the people, of the entrepreneurs, the lovepreneurs, people like us. So you're the so that's what our relationship is reciprocal, right? Because we'll be bringing our lovepreneurs to you to get that mental wellness, that coaching, that those therapy, right? Because this is also a form of therapy for me to be able to express the language to you, as well as you also providing feedback and you delivering your gift. So this is a good example of a lovepreneurship in work, the nonprofit navigator journey in work, or the nonprofit navigator system at work. And so this is definitely key. And so I hope I answered those two good on that one.
Yeah, you're good.
Good, good.
Good job.
We got to give them everything.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah,
then
and it's
for being organized, right? That was a big something that I pulled from that too. You talk about having your systems in place and all that. First, you got to even go back to are you? And this is about loving yourself and just really knowing thyself, right? Are you really an organized person, right? And just being able to say no, I'm not. I need help. Being able to ask someone, okay, if you know organization is not your thing, being able to say, you know what, I'm not an organized person. I need help. That's a part of self love as well. Just recognizing, um, and
mm,
I don't call them weaknesses. I call them lesser strengths. Right? You have your strengths and you have your lesser strengths. Right? So whatever your lesser strengths are, being able to recognize that and saying, okay, I
that's
need
good.
help. Right, right, right. I
Go
need
ahead, Proceps.
Yes, lesser strengths, no weaknesses, right? And it's funny because when you talk your whole you thing about the pros and the cons and the weak days and the strong days, it correlates with how I think. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been saying like lesser strengths. I don't like to use that word because that word I don't like it. You know what I mean? So let's make it because it's all it is. It's a
Make it strong. Let's make it strong. Yeah.
make it strong, absolutely. And so being able to be honest with yourself, being knowing thyself and self-actualizing, being self-aware, and just being able to say, I need help with this. I need help with being organized, and just being honest and letting us know, right, that you need help in that. And we can assist you, right? Because you got steps for everything that you need to do. So yeah, so I just want to throw that out there.
Come on, co-host with the mostest, doing that thing right there. She dropped them gems again. I just caught them. I wrote them down myself in my mental notes. Make sure y'all are doing that as well. Like, share, and subscribe if anything we said on this live made sense and already helped you ROI yourself as you take that nonprofit navigator virtual journey. You know what I'm talking about? You got to get them virtual dollars because it's only going to increase. And you have a product or service that somebody out there needs today, not someday. You dig? So take yourself seriously and get yourself out there on these internet of things. The beautiful part is you can create a clone for yourself and get yourself out there if you don't necessarily even like your face out there, right? But you got a beautiful face. You got to use it. That's why I use mine. I know my sister's using hers. You dig? So make sure y'all do y'all thing. Get out there on this nonprofit navigator journey. You can do this. We believe in you. We appreciate you allowing us to pour into you. We're going to be pouring more and doing just more free trainings as we continue to build. So we're going to be having more webinars as we lead into our virtual summits. We're going to be doing that quarterly, right? So that's something that's going to be taken more seriously. We already got the ebook printed out. Next thing coming out is also the course. The course is being remodified, right? Because it already had modules in there, like our sister just spoke, and we're also adding the nonprofit navigator piece as well as the Your Digital Rich grant course piece that we're reading from right now. So you got to be able to put it all together with your ideas, right? Because, for example, what you said, me working with my wifey has been critical, right? Because she's been able to bring us resources and bring us connections, bring us opportunities, bring us divinity, right? Bring us the right direction, the righteousness that we need to be able to do this. And so it's even brought us opportunities and connections with you as we are now building and taking these things to the next level. So continue your build, right? As you also continue to build in Kenya. We also do have an opportunity in Nigeria. We got to speak to you offline about because that might be another grant opportunity. But to that being said, too, sister, start looking out at more opportunities in Kenya. We're going to also be taking that global. We've been seeing them talk about our people. I got my Traore hat on. You did, and so we got to start representing. We got to start being what it is. I'm talking about. This is the moment because it all is representative of our people. Italians, when they talk to Italy, they go back and represent. So like, we as Nubians, right, when they speak dirt against any Nubian, they speaking against all of us. You dig? And so we got to represent. We got to be able to talk truth to power, empower our people to get out there, get them dollars, be more informed, and know what time and day and time we're living in. Make sure you protect your mind, some psychological warfare, you dig, and be able to really help your people because it's not even physical no more. It's you not even wanting to take care of your family. It's that simple, right? You not even want to take care of yourself. You're not even wanting to solve your community's problems, right? So we got to overcome that. And we have to make sure that on that road, if we're looking for dollars and money, that will come as you become better at what you do, if that's really all that you need. But money don't end. And at some point, you got to realize that you'll just be serving the God Mammon, the God of money. And you have to be able to answer to that at the end of your days, while you weren't even able to give the 10% of when the 100% and more than 100% the Most High has given us. So we have to be able to start to challenge those thoughts with ourselves, right? And be able to live more fruitfully by also giving out this information that we charge so much for, but also to our people that they can give it back in ROI their life and help their journey. So I hope that was making sense, sister. Leave the people on something that you want them to think about as we close out.
Again, I am the Empress Sharifa. My YouTube channel is Ms. BJ Martin. That's MS as in boy, J Martin, Ms. BJ Martin. Instagram is the Empress underscore Sharifa. You can find me. And I'm on TikTok too. Ms. BJ Martin, MSBJ Martin. I guess I just want to leave it. You just briefly, you were talking about Abraham Traore, and we all definitely stand with him, absolutely, because that's a reflection of all of us. That's the beginnings of the change, this great change that is coming upon us. We got we're stepping into the new rulers of the planet, right? And so it's got to start in the motherland, like it has to start where it all originated from. So I definitely want to give big ups to that, and just also, not only, being a soldier, for your people, that's very important, but make sure, again, like, and just to add on really to what you're saying, make sure you're being a soldier for your own family as well. You can't, you don't go out here and respecting your woman and your women. You can't go out here talking about I'm for Abraham Traore, but behind closed doors you're disrespecting your woman. That doesn't go together, right? So make sure you are a soldier for yourself, your family, right? Your woman, your children, and then we continue to fight for the rest of our people. Okay. So yes, I'm gonna leave you that self-love. Self-love is the best. That's the first love. Self-love is the best first love. Make sure you get your mental wellness together, get your heart together, your soul together, right? Can't nobody touch you. Nobody touch you after that. So yeah, that's how I
Come on,
have
man.
for
That's the fourth mic drop on them, man. Make sure y'all picking up these gems, man. Sister just always leaves it on that positivity, that righteousness that we need. So I appreciate you continuing to build. Let us know what you need. We're gonna write more grants. We're also gonna do more grant writing with you too. So we do want you to also take that to the next level with us. So we're gonna talk more offline on that. As we are filling more positions and being able to pay for that. So with that, make sure that you turn these free opportunities into paid opportunities because that's part of grant writing. That's part of doing what you love to do and taking yourself to the next level. Amen.
All right. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.